Hello, you sentient ball of stardust. My name is Casey Davis. I'm a therapist and I'm an author of the book How to Keep House While Drowning, where I talk about ways to make it a little bit easier to take care of yourself when you're overwhelmed, stressed, have mental health issues, physical health issues, or maybe you're just in a hard season of life. Maybe you're looking for a place that you can come and listen to some practical advice. This is a podcast for all of the self-help rejects. We're going to talk about skills for survival and self-kindness. And I'm going to leave the pop psychology at the door. I promise not to tell you to meditate or to journal. We're just going to give you some really insightful conversations with hopefully some practical advice. So I don't believe you need to pick yourself up by the bootstraps. I don't want you to just try harder, and I don't believe that laziness exists. So join me over on Struggle Care, where we can find compassionate solutions that help us function a little bit better.
Discover unbeatable deals and convenience at your neighborhood Family Fare supermarkets. Score exclusive deals, earn rewards, join clubs, and clip digital coupons for extra savings all in one place. Our exclusive offers bring savings straight to your card. Explore a wide range of local products that support your community. With easy pickup and delivery options, saving time and grocery shopping has never been easier. Family Fare is all about making your grocery experience easy and affordable at your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. Family Fare in your neighborhood.
Hey there, thinkers. You know who it is. Your girl, your host, Elena Grace. In fact, this week, I'm not only your girl and your host, I'm the birthday girl. This is our annual Elena's birthday solo episode where I just kind of talk about literally whatever I want, which is technically every episode, to be fair. That's kind of like the point of the show, you know, now that I think about it. But in today's episode, I don't really know exactly where it's going to go. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, as I always try to be. But I do want to talk about some things I've been thinking about lately. And in particular, I want to talk about goal setting, kind of, and how that helps me, I guess, and kind of do a little mid-year check-in. I did a goal-setting episode earlier this year, and so this is going to be a little bit of a follow-up to that, and I'm going to talk about some specifics, right? So, yeah, that's what we're looking at, but I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm so glad you guys are here. And I'm so grateful every single time I get to bring an episode to you all. And I've been doing this for 3 years now. 3 years of I've been thinking. We celebrated that back in May. And it doesn't feel real that I've been doing it so long. And now we have producer Tyler, who has just been the most incredible addition to the team. And now we're picked up by Stoveleg, which has just been absolutely phenomenal. Like, Nate, thank you for seeing what I see in this show and for letting me be me and for all the faith you have in me. Tyler, thank you for the faith that you have in me and this show, and thank you guys for being a part of my journey. My birthday always makes me a little emotional because, to be honest with you, it feels more like the new year than New Year's Day does, if that makes sense. I think that in my mind, birthdays are kind of a starting over, a new starting point. They're the day when you say, okay, this is Like now I've woken up and this is almost a new version of me. It is a version of me that is a year older and has a year more of experience, but is also so similar to the version of me that it was yesterday. And also this version of me has now this brand new slate. I'm not 27-year-old Elena that I was yesterday. I'm 28-year-old Elena. And that's not that much of a difference from one day to the next. But from last year, the person that I was is wildly different. And so I'm rambling, but that's what I mean when I say that it is such a new year moment. It's such a new slate moment for me. And I propose to all my thinkers out there that we all do that we all kind of think of our birthdays as a new year and a fresh slate, because I think it's really helpful. I think it's really inspirational and it feels really clean, like here's a whole new year of my life that I get to do with whatever I want. And I get to become a new version of myself, and I get to grow, and I get to do all these new things. Like it feels very inspirational and aspirational at the same time to think of your birthday as a fresh start. So yeah, I propose that all of us thinkers, we start approaching it that way. That would be incredible. And like I said, it's really helpful to me. And so with that, I want to talk about kind of a little goal check-in and how I am working on approaching that. And if you guys can hear tiny little chomps, Winnie just decided to eat her dinner from last night just now, and her bowl is like 7 feet from the microphone at the moment, so just forgive me, okay? Bear with me. All right, but so back at the new year, of course, as always, I set myself some goals, and I believe I talked about them specifically in the goal setting episode that I did a few months ago, but I'm gonna read a few of them out loud to you now, because even if I didn't share them specifically last time, I want to share them now. So a few of my 2023 goals: emotional growth. I wanted to focus on rest and self-care and internal reflection, as well as prioritizing workouts, meditation, study, and walks. And now I flip the page to my mid-year check-in that I started working on this week. And matching that, my emotional growth section. Prioritizing rest. I'm still working on really prioritizing that. Okay, now some bombs are going off at the range down the road. Oh Lord, what a conundrum. All right, anyway, I am working on prioritizing rest. I am really focusing on giving myself time to just sit, time to decompress, time to sleep, all those things. But I'm still working on giving myself reflection time and giving myself time to just sit in quiet and think, and that is something that I think has been very easy to erase from my life, having time for that, because I fill my time constantly with listening to other podcasts, with listening to music, with whatever. There's always background noise, right? With Bob's Burgers, there's always background noise. And that gets overwhelming, of course, but also it doesn't let me sit with my thoughts. So I've been spending a lot of time recently trying specifically to have alone time, to have quiet time, to sit and eat breakfast without a YouTube video in front of me, or to paint without a true crime podcast or Post Malone blaring in the background. Like, to just spend time with me. And even if it's just for 10 minutes in the sauna at the gym, like no headphones, just laying in the sauna. I've been doing that lately. And or driving down the road with no music on. Been doing that too. That is insane how quiet it helps my brain feel. How much all of these different distractions have really kept me from reflecting, but also from just thinking and noticing and just letting my brain do its thing. And I think a lot of that is because I'm scared of my brain doing its thing sometimes, anxiety, depression, all that good stuff. But sometimes it's really nice to allow it to happen. And I haven't been doing that for a while. And dang, I missed it. But I'm working on it and allowing it. And so I want to encourage you guys, if that's something you struggle with, give yourself quiet time, whether it's like laying in the tub and not being on your phone the whole time, or going on a walk with no headphones, or laying in the sauna for 5 or 10 minutes, or driving down the road. Your brain is like focused on something when you're driving down the road. You're not totally alone with your thoughts then, because you're thinking about other drivers. That's probably a great place to start, honestly, rather than these incredibly quiet, incredibly alone places. Start driving down the road every once in a while with no music on, no podcast, and see how much you think about, because it's crazy. It is crazy how many thoughts I've been missing out on because I'm just bop-a-lopping down the road, And even though I've not necessarily been focusing as much on internal reflection the way I have goaled towards this year, that change has significantly helped. I have to say, it has really been eye-opening how much I ignore and how much I distract myself. Now, another one of my emotional growth facets that I wanted to focus on was prioritizing workouts, meditation, studying, and walks. And honestly, I've not been consistent with any of that. Not at all. But I am taking this mid-year check-in / birthday check-in to challenge myself to do that, to challenge myself, even though it's really, at this moment, it's too hot to go on lots of walks, right? At least during times of day that I feel safe doing that. Even living in a super safe neighborhood, I still don't feel comfortable, walking down the street at night by myself, even with Winnie, that kind of thing. So it's too hot to walk right now. So I've been walking on the treadmill at the gym a lot more. And even when I haven't been doing like weight training workouts necessarily at the gym, I still try to get over there and at least spend like 20 minutes on the treadmill, because that's how I'm getting in my walks, right? So for you, that might be taking a walk down the street and back, whatever. But those walks are really important to me, because not only is it, when I'm outside at least, time to spend with Winnie, which is super fulfilling, but it's an opportunity to get some of my energy out in a really tangible way and quell my thoughts and my anxieties that way. And it is also an opportunity for me to potentially have some alone time and to spend some time with myself and think about things. You know, even at the gym, I can still be thinking about things on the treadmill at the gym. I don't have to have my music blasting. I can like people watch and think, or I can just meditate in my own little world, you know? So I think walking is an underrated activity. I'll say that. I love a hot girl walk. Absolutely love it. Okay, so next on my list of 2023 goals was artistic growth. So I wanted to find inspiration everywhere and to let it flow. I wanted to create out of passion and not out of necessity. And of course, I wanted to work towards scaling the business facet. And I have to say that I have definitely been creating more from passion lately and not just with sales in mind. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really happy about that. I definitely still think to myself at some points, like, how can I sell this, I guess? But recently, I have really been focusing on telling stories and putting beautiful things onto paper or onto canvas, and things that feel like a part of my soul and make me happy, and not just things that I think somebody will buy. Because I have those. I have things I think somebody will buy. And sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. So why not make what I love, you know? And those are the things I've found that people gravitate towards more, because they feel the love and the spirit and the story and all that good stuff. They feel that in there. So why not? To all my fellow artists, just make what you love, dude. I know, like, you might fall into the niche of like, well, it pays my bills, I'm just gonna keep making more of these. And like, I get that. Yeah, do that, but like, make a little bit less of that and make a little bit more of what you love. I don't know. That's my opinion. I know that I'm really lucky to be able to think that. But also remember, I am a starving artist. I'm not a professional artist. It does not pay my bills, you know, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just too hopeful. I don't know. Okay, back to the check-in. My website is up and running, and I've been doing lots of vendor events, so that checks off the scaling the business part. I am really working hard towards that and getting that rolling really well. And then really exciting news. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I made my first big sale as an artist this month. And that has just been, the highlight of my month for sure, because somebody valued my vision and my work and something I created enough to spend hundreds of dollars on it. And that is like the greatest compliment for somebody who is just starting out, especially. Like, I am so beyond honored to have somebody see what I do and put that kind of value on it. That's incredible. Okay, so now that is as far as I've actually gotten with my written check-ins. So now we're going to talk a little bit about my pod growth facet. Okay. And like I said, I haven't actually gotten to the written part of this yet, but one of my goals was to record on a schedule and create a content backlog. And y'all, I have not gotten to that one yet. That one's not going well, and producer Tyler is literally ready to string me up by my toes. He is so over me, but we're working on that one. Okay, expanding our guest network and catalog, and I can say that we're doing that. We're absolutely expanding our network. We're going to have some really great episodes coming up in the next few months. And I can't wait. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Some really incredible guests for us, and we've had some incredible guests since I wrote this, and I'm just thrilled with what we're doing. And I'm also really thrilled with what we're planning on doing too in the future here with I've Been Thinking. We've got some really great ideas in the works, some really great plans in the works, I should say. And it's going to be so good. In my opinion, I've Been Thinking is already awesome, but what we've got coming up, it's going to be so good. And I'm so excited to be able to share new parts of myself with you guys with our plans, because they're so fun. They're so stinking fun, our plans are. And finally, I wanted to grow our listenership here at I've Been Thinking, and I can't say enough how thankful I am to you guys, because we're doing it. We're growing our listenership. We are expanding, and that's thanks to you guys. Thanks to you, the listener, obviously being here listening, but also sharing it with people. And I can just ask you to share more, to send it to a friend, to share it on your social media, to tell people about the show, because that's how we grow, and that's how we get to bring you even more incredible content. Because I mean, if I had 2 full days a week to devote to the podcast again, like I did when I was doing it weekly episodes, I feel like do even more. So if we can continue scaling and we can continue growing our listenership, then Tyler and I can spend even more time on it, and we can make it even better for you. And that's what I want. I want to have fun with you guys, and to share, and to give you guys what you want to hear about, or maybe what you don't want to hear about, but what you maybe need to hear in the moment, or what you should hear because it's not something you're hearing elsewhere, if all of that makes sense. I want to bring you guys so much knowledge and so many different experiences, and I just want to share that with you guys all the time. So give us a share, give us a review, please leave us a review and a rating, and we'd love that. I obviously went off on a little tangent there, but the point in this episode was definitely to check in, to talk about the goals that I set and where I'm at with them, right? But also I want to talk a little bit about, I guess, how I got there, how on the ones where I'm doing well, how I did that. And I think the number one underlying factor for all of those is just that I paid attention to those. I specifically said, how can I do this? And I worked towards it specifically, right? So I didn't just decide I'm going to be more mindful and then it happened. I worked on it. I said, okay, I'm going to spend this time alone with my thoughts. Or I didn't just say, I'm going to be more successful in my art business. I said, how can I be more successful? And I started going to vendor events, right? So for me, I think that was one of the most important things, because it's not just deciding you're going to do or be something. It's working towards it. And I'm a big proponent of manifestation. Please do not get me wrong. But with manifestation, you also have to put some work in towards things. You have to say, okay, I'm going to get a free coffee today. Anna Grace Newell, on that episode that I did with her where she shared that story, she didn't sit at home and wait for a free coffee to come to her. She said, I'm going to manifest myself a free coffee, but I'm going to go to a coffee shop. And that's how she got a free coffee. She went to the coffee shop. She didn't wait for it to come to her. She went out and went for it. So that was her first manifestation that she was aware of and she was consciously manifesting, right? So in the same way, I'm out here and I'm trying to manifest success as an artist. So I'm going to vendor events. I'm trying to manifest success as a podcaster. So I'm putting out new episodes and I'm sharing them and I'm bringing on new guests and I'm talking about it with people, talking about the podcast with people. So that's how we do that. We want it and we speak it to the universe and we say, I'm going to get this. But we also put in the work to get it. And then it comes to us tenfold. It comes to us so much easier, right? So for the facets of my goal setting that I am not meeting currently, I also want to talk about that. And it's essentially the same, but inverse. I'm not putting the same kind of work in towards those. The going on walks, right? Or making my workouts very regular. I'm not putting the same kind of work and prioritization in on those that I should be. I'm not spending time specifically meditating or spending time specifically on a ton of self-reflection. I still am trying to distract myself a lot of the time. Don't get me wrong. Driving with no sound on in the car, that doesn't solve everything, okay? So I'm still trying to distract myself. I'm still trying to fulfill all these habits that I've had where I'm not addressing things inside of me, but I'm working on it. I'm working towards it. But in the places where I haven't been meeting those goals, it's because I've not been working on it specifically, or because I've not been working on it as much as I should. It's not been a priority. So that is definitely a lesson that I've learned this past year, that you can say you want something and you can even do it sometimes, but unless you make it a priority for you, it's not going to come to you the way you want it to, at least. It's not going to come to you as quickly or in the way that you expect. So my biggest piece of advice to you that I think I've learned over this past year, over my 27th year on this earth, is that you have to work for it. You better work, bitch. You gotta work for it if you want it. And damn, that sucks. It sucks. I love when things just get brought to me, right? But you gotta work for it, and you have to know what you want, you have to know what you're working towards. Because if you're just working for the sake of working, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere. You have to be working towards a goal, and you have to make that goal attainable for yourself. So that goal might seem absolutely cuckoo nutballs crazy, but break it down into steps. You know, I want the podcast and art to be my full-time job, but I'm not quitting my job right now to go for it. Frankly, that might help. It might. But you know what I did? I took one extra day off a week. So now I've got a 4-hour work week at my job that actually pays my bills. That means that I've had to be more mindful about some spending and that kind of thing. But that also means that I have one more day a week to go to vendor events, to paint, to work on the podcast, all that stuff. So that is giving me one more day to focus on these things that I want to be my full-time, these things that are truly my dream. And I know that's not feasible for everybody. It really, honestly, isn't particularly feasible for me, but I'm doing it anyway. But what it's taught me is prioritization. What I'm not doing on those days, I'm not just taking an extra beach day. I'm not going out shopping. I'm sacrificing. I'm not doing a lot of the things or buying a lot of the things that I want to, but I'm working on those days and I'm working hard. And that's just what you have to do to get where you want to be, or at least for most of us. For most of us, it's what you have to do to get where you want to be. So anyway, I went off on a little something right there. No, I didn't. That it really is about sacrifice for 99% of us. It's about sacrifice, and it's about working hard and focus and knowing where you're going, because otherwise you're not going to get there, and you're not going to know when you've achieved your goal. If you don't have a goal, how do you know that you've done it? And then you're just going to keep working, and for what? And anyway, that's for another episode, I think, because I need somebody to bounce off of with that one. And my point is that this past year, I have definitely learned that goal setting is essential, that you have to work hard and you have to know what you're working towards. You have to prioritize and you have to sacrifice. And I guess that's kind of what I want to leave you guys with today. That getting what you want isn't easy, but I think we all know that. We're living in a nearly post-capitalist America where the disparity between the impoverished and the rich is greater than that during the French Revolution. And we ain't even chopping off heads yet, so that's cool. I think we all know you have to work hard to get what you want. But I guess I just wanted to talk about how I'm doing it, I suppose, and what I've learned. Because I'm just one of you. I'm not an influencer with 25 million followers, and I'm going to tell you how to become that too. I'm not a celebrity's kid or a politician's kid or a rich man's kid. You know, I'm none of those things, and I'm just one of you, and I'm just working really hard to try to follow my dreams in a world where that's hard to do, and in a world where it's not set up for that anymore. And the people who do get to follow their dreams are few and far between. So I wanted to talk about my experiences as a regular old gal trying very hard to do that and to make this life into something that I can be happy in. Because I'll tell y'all what, I personally, I can't be happy with average. I can't be happy with settling. That's not for me. That is not for me, and it would break my spirit. And I have struggled my whole life to make sure that my spirit does not get broken. So it ain't gonna happen now at 28 years old. All right? I'll fucking fight you over it. But what is gonna happen is I'm gonna keep struggling and fighting and trying to reach my goals. Because even if I'm not living the life I want, as long as I'm working towards it, that is really, really important to me. As long as I'm working towards it, that's what matters. And maybe this episode doesn't hit with you at all. And maybe this episode rings very true to you. I don't know. Let me know. Please let me know. Give me an email. Give me a review. Whatever you want to do. Tell me how you felt about this episode or any of our episodes. Just tell us how you feel. But I really wanted to get on and share about this with you guys because it has been important to me this year. And hopefully, maybe you find it helpful. Maybe you didn't care about this episode at all and you're never going to listen to I've Been Thinking again. But hopefully, if that's the case, you'll at least recommend us to a friend who you think might like us. Guys, thank you for listening. And I promise that the next episode is going to be even better than today's. The solo episodes I always worry about. But I've got some good guests coming up for y'all. And we've got some good guests coming up for y'all. Tyler and I have been working on some awesome guests. And I'm really excited about them. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you being here. Make sure before you go that you leave us a review, leave us a rating and a review wherever you listen. Spotify and Apple are obviously the most helpful options. Go check out the website, the blog posts for today's episode and all the other ones, obviously. Make sure that you check out our Patreon, patreon.com/I've Been Thinking, to monetarily support the pod. We'd appreciate that so much if you're able to do that. And otherwise, just give us a share. Tell somebody to listen to us. Please. That's how we grow. That and reviews, those are the number one ways we grow. So for my birthday, as a present to me, put today's episode on your favorite episode, whatever it is, on your Instagram story or on your Facebook wall and tell somebody to listen to it, because that's how we're gonna do this. All right, guys, thanks so much. I cannot wait to talk to you next time, and I love you. Thank you for helping my dreams come true. Bye, guys. Before we go, I'd like to tell you about our ad partner for today's episode, Dev Kenya. Do you have big dreams and a small budget? Get your website done for under $500 by a Kenyan web developer, half the price and double the quality. Our friends at Dev Kenya are building a platform to connect Kenyan web developers with those who need a website at a competitive price without compromising on quality. Love that. Go to devkenya.com, that's DEVKENYA.com, and sign up for their waiting list. And use the coupon code DevKenya for 15% off your first website. That's DEVKENYA for 15% off your first website. Thanks, y'all.
Hello, you sentient ball of stardust. My name is Casey Davis. I'm a therapist and I'm an author of the book How to Keep House While Drowning, where I talk about ways to make it a little bit easier to take care of yourself when you're overwhelmed, stressed, have mental health issues, physical health issues, or maybe you're just in a hard season of life. Maybe you're looking for a place that you can come and listen to some practical advice. This is a podcast for all of the self-help rejects. We're going to talk about skills for survival and self-kindness. And I'm going to leave the pop psychology at the door. I promise not to tell you to meditate or to journal. We're just going to give you some really insightful conversations with hopefully some practical advice. So I don't believe you need to pick yourself up by the bootstraps. I don't want you to just try harder, and I don't believe that laziness exists. So join me over on Struggle Care, where we can find compassionate solutions that help us function a little bit better.
Targeting the best technical outdoor shop. Location spotted and narrowing down. Arrived at MunityPod, the one-stop shop for outdoor and technical gear. Visit munitypod.com for great offers.